Hey guys, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Flash Season 6 review series, and today I'm going to be talking about episode 14, Death of the Speedforce, and this episode saw the return of Wally West, aka Kid Flash, and it's been a long time since Wally West last appeared on the show. I think the last time he was on the show, I'm going to have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it's either season 5 or season 4, but either way, I'll have to go back and check, but it's been a while since he's been on The Flash. The last time I saw Kid Flash officially was back in season 4 of Legends of Tomorrow, and he was helping the Legends out, and yeah, I don't really want to get into season 4 of Legends of Tomorrow. Enough said really, but I feel, in my opinion, if I'm truly honest, and all due respect to Kainan Lonsdale, who plays Kid Flash, he's a great young actor and he does a great job, but I feel Kid Flash / Wally West is wasted on the show. I mean, when I was first getting into the Flash comics, my first Flash that I was exposed to was Wally West. And especially later on in the Justice League animated series, he was my Flash growing up. Barry Allen, not so much. That came more later, but for many years, Wally West was my guy. He was my Flash. And obviously, different versions involve different universes, and different versions of Wally West are going to be different to what we know. I always remember Wally West as very funny, a bit of a joker, but when push comes to shove, he gets his super serious head on and he's a real total badass. But I feel in the show, he's just written really dry. He hasn't got much of a personality, and which is a shame really, because it's such a far cry from Wally West that I know from the comics, and especially in the Justice League animated series. But I just feel that Wally West should have a bigger role, especially as we all know, as hardcore geeks, that he'll eventually take up the mantle of the Flash when he's older, after Barry Allen died. But I'm not really seeing that in the show, unless he'll become the Flash maybe towards the end of the series, whatever season they decide to end it at. But I just feel that Wally West could be built up more. I mean, he's not even like at sidekick level. He's just more like, he's just there and just not doing much. He's just there to make up the numbers. But he was back for this episode, and yeah, he was very different. Very, very different to how we saw him last time. And he's a lot more calmer, he's a lot more serious, and we got to see that showcased throughout this episode. And we also learn about what really happened to the Speedforce and why Barry is not able to go into the Speedforce anymore, and the revelation about why he's not connected to the Speedforce does take you a bit by surprise, but it's very interesting about why this has happened. So anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about episode 14, Death of the Speedforce. So this episode kicks off with a helicopter beginning to rust and falling out of the sky over Central City, but we see a speedster rushes to the scene and saves the passenger before dismantling the aircraft. It's not Barry Allen, it's Kid Flash, and he's back with a new sense of zen and some new powers too. Cisco also returns from exploring the world, and his last stop involved a visit to Atlantis. Could we see Aquaman make an appearance in the Arrowverse? You never know. That's all I'm going to say. You never know. Never say never. After the celebration, Barry and Wally speed up and clean everything up, and he has an issue with his speed. And Wally reveals that he's really returned because something's wrong with the Speedforce. Wally confronts Barry about the Speedforce issue and brings him into the Speedforce, where they find her, which is a representation of Nora Allen, and she's dying. She tells him that his actions that is killing her. Without Wally helping him, Barry enters the Speedforce again alone. Nora Allen, in the form of the Speedforce, explains that it wasn't the battle with Bloodwork, it was when Barry had the Spectre send him into the Speedforce that caused this catastrophe. You remember back in part 4 of Crisis on Infinite Earths, Oliver as the Spectre sent him into the Speedforce, and obviously the effects of that have caused irreparable damage, and we see the Speedforce in Nora Allen's form dies and tells him that she loves him. Cisco doesn't feel like his trip around the world changed him in any way, and that he's just back where he started from, which prompts him to be very rude and dismissive of Nash Wells when he came to help him with his weird visions. Cisco later goes to see Nash and is possessed by Reverse Flash now, but he doesn't have any speed or powers. We know the history between these two, but Cecile takes Reverse Flash Nash down and they imprison him in the pipeline. Reverse Flash knows that the Speedforce is dead, and he wants to use that loss of power to kill Barry and everyone he loves. That Tom Cavanagh, what an awesome actor. So, for the villain of the week at Jitters is Maria Volkova. The woman from the helicopter is attacked by a mysterious Meta and killed, and she is turned into an aged mummy. The Meta villain is none other than Turtle 2.0, aka Frida Novikov. She's the reason Cisco returned to Central City, as he's been hearing all about her in all of his travels. She later attacks the CCPD, but Barry and Wally use their remaining speed to stop her via the antidote Cisco makes. The episode ends with Barry deciding to work with Kaiten and Cisco to build an artificial Speedforce and restore his speed. And Camilla figures out that Iris isn't who she says she is, thanks to a photograph she took where you see her true form is revealed in the picture. But before Camilla can do anything, Mirror Iris shoots her with the mirror gun and teleports her into the Mirrorverse where Iris is trapped, and that's how this episode ends. Very good episode, really enjoyed this a lot, and this kind of continues on from episode 13, which was also good, and it's really cool to see Wally West has grown up a lot and he's a lot more serious, and the scene where he's yelling at Barry and answering back to him and basically telling him off for what he did in the Speedforce was a really good scene, and it really shows you how much the Wally West character has grown a lot on the show, and hopefully this ain't the last time we will see him. So I'm going to wrap this up now, and I'm going to leave this here for you guys. What did you think of this episode? Are you pleased that Kid Flash is back? What's your thoughts on the Speedforce being dead? Do you think there's any way to revive it? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will be back next time for another edition of the Season 6 review series, where I'll be talking about episode 15, which I am very, very much looking forward to, and it's a really good one, and I can't wait to talk about it. And it should be a lot of fun. And also, without giving anything away, we also see the return of an old villain who has caused Barry a lot of trouble. If you know who it is, you'll know who I'm talking about. So, more on that in the next review. So until next time, take care everybody, and stay safe.